Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and The World to Come, issue number 3. This is the Black Panther. This is the Black friggin' Panther. Okay, this is part 3, The Door. You find out exactly what the door is on the final page of the actual comic, pre all of the white pages, in the Hickman vein of putting together white pages. This is amazing, my peeps. Let's talk about who made this comic book. We'll go on from there. So I'm not sure why they keep putting Quesada in front of Priest, but whatever. It's Joe Quesada and Christopher Priest. They are the artist and then writer in this particularly. The colors are done by Richard Eisenhoff, and Richard Starkings and Comic Crafts Tyler Smith do the lettering. I don't know why they do that. Isn't Richard Starkings in charge of Comics Craft? Whatever. Yeah. Oh, and Joe Quesada and Richard Eisenhoff do the cover. So there are a couple of variant covers out there. Feel free to go and check them all out. Really good stuff. This is beyond amazing. It's hard to even comprehend how freaking amazing this is. So we see parallel paths. Mind you, you have to always remember one word when you're reading anything by Christopher Priest, and that is time. You will confuse yourself horribly when reading this comic book, any of his comic books, if you do not keep in mind that Priest's mind is out there. The dude is not credited enough for the genius of his writing. He's able to take things in a different form of time. When I interviewed him, I mentioned something like this to him, and I didn't want to press too hard because I didn't want him to think that I was trying to be mean or anything like that. He has this ability to see things outside of chronological time. It's interesting to see that Black Panther, and this is still a part of what I was just saying. It's interesting to see that T'Chaka, T'Challa's father, T'Challa, the one who we know as the Black Panther, right? Even though it's a series of people. And all challengers welcome, as long as they're from within the land of Wakanda, the nation of Wakanda. It's interesting to see that T'Chaka had T'Challa learning how to be a Wakandan, more specifically a Wakandan king, by being put in a temple that was actually in Hell's Kitchen. And yeah, the Matt Murdock appearance, absurdly good. Like, the idea that this little kid showed up and blah, 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 and where he was looking for something, we didn't find out what he was looking for until the very end. And that's what all of a sudden made it like, oh, wait, hold on. I'm okay with the idea that Quesada did the shadow thing to remove all doubt of exactly who this was. I guess, whatever. But no, I think be okay with the intelligence of the reader as soon as he put on the glasses, because he was already talking about this. Like, when you talk about the mass in Christianity, you're talking about Catholics, all right? I know Orthodox, whatever, but you're immediately thinking about the most dominant. It's not even a denomination; it's the original church, the Catholic. You're talking about the Catholics. Who's a little white, blonde-haired kid with red, blind person glasses? In Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, I think there were more than enough hints. There was no need whatsoever to show the thing of the Shadow Daredevil there. I think it was perfect. Just the hints that they let up. He finds the glasses and just also like, this is him. Wow, that was awesome. I was not expecting it at all. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Hell's Kitchen. Ben Grimm is from freaking Hell's Kitchen, for crying out loud. There are a lot of people, and those are the two most famous ones. There are a lot of characters from Hell's Kitchen. It's not that big of a freaking deal. Black Panther would eventually become the Man Without Fear. the king without fear, basically, when he took over Hell's Kitchen when Daredevil was gone for a while, right? Like this is a friend thing that these two have, you know? Friends have special privileges with each other. And it's funny, more than Reed Richards and T'Challa, I think that Matt and T'Challa probably have the best friendship out there. I think we're going to learn the name of this girl who kept on showing up when she was younger. Like, could this actually be Storm in Chala's dreams? I'm not sure. I would imagine it is, but the idea, like, say my name and I'll show up. Magic. And I'm talking about the way Priest writes. Pure magic. Magic is mentioned in here while this priest is, what do you call it? With this, the devices that you use, the long stick with the little gripper fingers on it to pick up trash. This guy's using this as a weapon to fight T'Challa, to beat up young Prince T'Challa. Listen, I know there's going to be a lot of people who are upset about what's happening with the Black Panther, but you have to look at things beyond what's just there. I'm telling you. Look, there are a lot of people who think, oh, and anyway, the second timeline, not a different timeline, but later, chronologically later, is Katema, Black Panther, T'Challa's adopted son, who he's going to install as the king of Wakanda, right? After he's gone. He's choosing to install him as opposed to doing the fighting thing. And the priests are like, no, he's an outsider. He's like, no, the only thing he's ever known is Wakanda. He is going to be the guy. And he's like, no, there's no way. Unless what? Unless he goes through the same trials you went through when you were a kid. Now we get to see that Katema did the exact same thing. The only questionable part was the idea that T'Challa didn't read the Bible, but Katema did. That's not true. They showed him reading this ancient script, which is interesting because, and this is a beautiful thing at the end of the day also. I don't know if this was Sanskrit or not. It's also curious how Matt was able to read the Sanskrit or see that there was Sanskrit there. He's blind, right? This was not before he was blind. Not if he's able to fight like that, right? But then again, what the hell do I know? I don't know. Maybe it was right before the accident where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were born. Some of you, most of you, should know exactly what I'm talking about there. Look up what the ooze was that splashed him in the face. Look at what that wound up happening when it drifted into the sewers. So it's always funny. There's always some new young reader who just, wait, what? I love explaining that to people. It just happened like within this month. I just had to explain to somebody again. I love it. Anyway, it's interesting to see that path that's going on. Both of them passed their tests. I think Katema passed with flying colors. When he pointed out, he's like, this wasn't actually my test. This was yours. And then what happens at the end? When the door manifests. Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is like just tearing a juicy brisket off of the bone with your teeth. Oh, this is so good. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be really annoyed, bothered, teed off that there's so much strife going on in Wakanda. I don't know if some of you guys are new to the world of Wakanda. Oh, I brought this out I just found this yesterday in a thrift store. I've got all the individual comics, but now I've got this also. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, I've got everything that Roxane Gay has ever written in comics. Except it turns out that there was a Marvel Voices that came out at some point. Maybe it was the one that came out recently. I don't know. Where she wrote a small story in there also. Darn it. Thought I had it. The Roxane Gay World of Wakanda, so beautiful, was so amazing what she's written. Utterly fascinating. I'm going to reread this just for the sake, and I'm going to hand it to my wife and see if she appreciates this. So good. the chronological first appearance of Aya and Anika, Io and Anika. Oh, and then freaking what's his face? Ryan Coogler goes and kills one of them. I forget which one in the original movie. Where I'm like, yep, okay, you already lost me. You already lost me. You just killed, to me, what was a very important character. But hey, what the heck do I know? Nope, disqualified. Anyway, could have been some nameless person, but no, you chose to give her a name, and yeah, nope, wrong answer. So even if you go back to like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, right? God rest both their souls, did an amazing job pointing out the political nature in the first appearance of Black Panther. I think Don McGregor is the first one who really started showing that. Like there is a big problem with, the politics out there. And then of course Priest killed it and made it. I've said this multiple times. Nobody has canonized what it means to be the Black Panther, what the land of Wakanda is, what all of this is more than Christopher Priest. He is like, I made a joke before that the God Emperor of Marvel has always been, during his lifetime, Jim Shooter, right? The God Emperor of Wakanda is absolutely, my humble opinion, Christopher Priest. All right, I have no problem waxing poetic about how incredible this guy's run has always been, how important his run has always been for the Black Panther. How he left, apparently he left because he wasn't allowed to do the things he wanted to do, so he went off and he created Red Lion in DC instead. Still couldn't do the things that he really wanted to do. Really? My phone? Anyway, I got to find a way to turn off non-essential notifications on that phone. But the idea of what happens in this is amazing. And again, the idea of the politics of Wakanda and how this all works, I think it's amazing. I know there are a lot of people, because I've talked to a couple of people. It took me a while to put out this review. I still have more comics to read and to review, therefore, from this week. I've got so freaking much to do right now, so I'm trying to make time for these things. A couple of people who I've talked to about this so far, annoyed that there's so much political strife. No, that shouldn't be the case, and da 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 da. No, that's not true. In fact, when you read the white pages, the stuff all the way to the right, I love the idea that he points out why there are different tribes. It's almost like a Tower of Babel. When the gods interfere, all of a sudden the tribes scatter. And what causes the tribal divisions? One word, 4 letters. Fear. Some of you know where that, comes from. But fear. That's what caused the division. I've read too much of Priest. I've gotten inside of his mind, right? Even prior to the interview, and that's my favorite. Well, Jim Shooter's my favorite interview that I've done, but I think Priest is probably my favorite person to have interviewed. And I know I didn't do nearly as well as I could have because I didn't want to talk about Black Panther. I want to talk about what he was currently doing. But man, oh man, this is so good. The idea that there would be strife, political strife, clerics vying for power. So T'Challa makes the antithesis to the clerics. He makes the Dora Milaje. These two, they're constantly vying for power, for structure, for who's actually going to be really in charge. And what Katema does in the last few pages is beyond amazing. Look at the idea that T'Challa could have, should have lived. And maybe he still did. Think about what's being said. It's like, you're actually so silly that you don't think that T'Challa has a plan, that T'Challa is actually going to live. You think T'Challa is actually going to let himself die? You think that's going to happen? Now, what exactly does that mean? T'Challa proper will come back? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he means in um Katema. I don't know. But I do know that T'Challa, more than one of the main reasons why I absolutely love T'Challa, Black Panther, as a character, a lot of it is because of what Priest has done. Liked him before, loved the idea that Captain America was made to say, this guy's a born leader and da 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 da, and all these things that he can do, and he's amazing. It's like, yeah, if Captain America likes him, well, then I like him too. But what solidified him as this incredibly great hero is the idea that everybody is different. Look, we don't have, well, lately we've been having this Marxist ideology in America, right? This idea of the proletarians versus the bourgeois, right? We got to seize the means of production. And yeah, sure, because that's what I want. I mean, you look in the military. Do we really want enlisted people being in charge of officers? No, we don't. That's why we have representatives and NCOs. You become an NCO by first becoming and going through the steps to become a enlisted, right? We have all of that. So we have more than just, hey, boom, here we go, whatever. But you don't want to put the people with the least in charge of everything. You want people who actually understand how money works, how politics work, how things like this work. That doesn't mean that I want a bunch of academics in charge, the people who've never actually done anything. No, absolutely not. That's the exact opposite. The people who know not versus the people who do not, they're both going to fail. You have to have that happy combination of both, of both. And that is why NCOs are the people, non-commissioned officers, are the people who actually keep everything in check, right? The idea that you have all these different tribes, you're not going to have the same socialist issues that you have in Wakanda. You can have the different tribes because they're all going to consider themselves equal, but, not really. It's not a classist thing, right? But it is no different. It's different in application, but not different in end result than racism, the different tribes. And this is actual Africa proper. It's true. That's the way it works. The tribe over the whole. The whole is considered the tribe. You want to be a part of the tribe, but apart from the other tribes, right? No, none of those things will ever work. The poor, the rich, the white, the black. I'm including all the other people also. Just you want to include everybody as a whole under one God. Just one God. Because if you start separating yourself from the whole, that's where you get apart from a part. You'll never have the whole. This is how T'Challa operates. He knows that there's some minds that he's simply never going to be able to reach because he's tried, and you could see how he has. This is the reason why he can make Everett Ross a leader, the Black Panther, the leader of Wakanda back in Priest's run. Ticks a lot of people off. Most people, I think, don't even know that was the case. And it was to save his life, to save Everett's life. T'Challa, under Priest, is the most, I don't want to say the word anti-racist because that has the connotations of, reverse racism and all that nonsense. Priest has this idea of we are all one. And I, as T'Challa, the Black Panther, cannot fix the world's problems in my lifetime, but I can set the ball rolling. That version of what Priest is doing, to me, makes T'Challa arguably the greatest character that Marvel, that comics has ever produced. When other people are sending T'Challa off into space to have more, black supremacy in space, F you. I'm not interested in a space opera. I'm not interested in more divisions. I'm not interested in keeping that stuff going. I know people say that Ta-Nehisi Coates is a genius. Yeah, he might be a certified genius, but geniuses very rarely ever run companies. You know, they're usually A students work for C students. You understand how that works? I know that myself. I have a very high IQ, and I'm not so great at running a business where other people are working under me. I'm just simply not good at that, but I'm great at getting tasks done that blow things out of the water. I'm really good at working independently for myself as opposed to running a big company. It's just the way it is. We have to recognize our strengths and recognize our weaknesses also, right? I'm not interested in at least the second half of what Coates has done. Simply not interested in it. But Priest has always done, and that's not to badmouth him, but whatever it is. But Priest has made it so that he's looking at the world and looking at T'Challa as being the guy. Captain America can try to unite America, right? Thor can try and unite Asgard, right? Wonder Woman can try and unite Themyscira and show, no, men aren't really bad, right? We can all sit here and try and be envoys of peace like Superman. Batman being the worst of them all, right? Nah, I just punch poor people in the face. What? What? But no. T'Challa can arguably be the greatest of all the heroes if the writers have the mindset that Priest has. Or if Priest was allowed to just continue writing how he wants to write, what he wants to write, never actually get to the end goal because no one person can do it. But it would take a while to do that and to unite all these different peoples, all these diverse peoples, right? I love this comic book. I love what's being put out there. This is, to me, one of the absolute best things that's being written today. I love this. I hope you guys love this also. I really do. Like, there's not a lot of comic books that I would push and say, I really want you guys to love this comic book. When have you ever heard me say that? I'm like, I don't know why you wouldn't like this, or, anybody who doesn't like this, I think you're crazy, or, how can you not love something like this? No, this is one where I'm actually wishing upon you to love this comic book, to love the story that's being put out there. It's Joe Quesada. Yeah, the art is great. Duh. But the story is something I've never seen tried before. And yet the seeds of it were always there. And I can't wait to see what the world to come is. We should find out in the next issue. Because the white pages on the right side are only 8 years away from it. Go out and buy this comic book. Support this comic book. Support this story. Support this stuff. Guys, this is that I'm praying a little bit that this isn't canceled before its time. I know this ticked off a lot of people. I know this ticked off a lot of black people. But melanin is my superpower. Well, then I guess whiteness is other people's superpower, right? Here in Canada, I can get more vitamin D than black people can. My wife has to take more vitamin D pills than I do. It's a superpower depending on where you are, right? So imagine being the Black Panther but not having the heart-shaped herb. Imagine being Captain America but without the super soldier serum. You're really just an idea, and sometimes that's not enough. Not without a good fist or a claw to back it up. I'm just saying. No, our superpower is our ability to fight through our differences and to become one. Right? Optimus Prime, the ultimate leader in that regard. Orion Pax over here, till all are one. That right there is the most defining statement anybody can ever say. And Priest on the world to come, running the Black Panther again. This is the best of what we could hope for, I think, for that comic book, that if you just put aside your me stuff and simply, and I'm talking to everybody on this because everybody's got their little me. Oh, see that? The white person in charge became the new Black Panther. Her. See, I told you. No, stop the silliness. Stop the silliness. It's everything is funny for a few moments and then you stop and we move on, right? This is a beautiful and amazing and terrifying comic. This is Galadriel being offered the ring by Frodo. You offer it to me freely. They will love me and despair. That's what this is. It's everything wrapped into one ring. I have my one ring up here someplace. I'm not going to find it though, am I? Darn it. I don't think I have to actually show you the one. Okay. I have the one ring somewhere. Just trust me on that. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Love and peace till all are one. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.